Kalau saya salah manungi tu tahun mergi terogoi, salah tial mestungi o mestungi program ra tax official tax reform di kotoruni ra tu tahun salah kami salah ngagi da ada ngara tengwa please gaspek answer tengwa ka I have to do the introduction first and then lagi entertain like questions makal ngara tengwa relata please hang up Malungin tu tahun moraro buil other belau ngara sel mai tela blue belau. It's very important for us to listen to this program so we can better understand our new tax system. We ask that you hold on to your questions, and then when we finish the introduction, then we'll open the line for questions and answers. Malungin tu tahun mergi teroboi. Sel mai tela blue belau tiamo racing 88.5 ma 89.5. Direct ngara Dias Broadcasting Palau channel that are YouTube, so which means everybody around the world are listening at this time. Malungin tutau solang ya obgedera tutau angel director tax ngater album sa kal rogu terang tinggal ora tax ngari akester ngil suakan tingwa lain ngum sa elway mong director Ikeda mo introduce rakester kit solang ngari list of issues and show a lot to tau. It's 1 hour, but don't worry about that because we can extend. I have appointment at 10:30, so we don't want to pass 10:30. Okay, so let's just cut it off right now, Mr. Diaz, and then let's go into the program. Okay, Elway Ikeda.
Malungil tuta tulip صارت كالتي الغوق بل سئل ميم غلا مساعدة ديال بيس التاكسة هذه هو ومولو سوسة هو رنسولي رأذ الغوق موانيات اللي لو رنك سرقيت الغوق تومس را يوتيوب ما تركي الغوق ممسارا وريولو وغير تيان عسب إذا الريولو غلا مساني ريواين دي غوق اوي وإذا ذو لمول من المساعدة تتلي لا تاكسي غانيا هذا لو بنجيب إلى توتاو نقرأ من السوان الميمك أو أوتيل واسين دي غال Alguien support tergido obviously that tax lo ngosel gido implement tertial basel tax so akora di el turgi kyun mom lo tora merigel el di kan mo so tertial tax lo bangel good morning everyone. Before we begin to discuss components of the new tax law, we have a very special guest this morning. He usually doesn't come out. He offers support in the office. And if I may, I want to introduce Mr. Ian Pittard. He is our tax implementation advisor.
Okay.
He works in country on the ground. He arrived earlier this year in January, and he's been with us until now, and he continues to work with us in country until next year. Ian, feel free to say good morning to everyone.
Morning. Thank you for letting me come in. Usually I stay in the back room because the director can speak for the tax office really well.
And I see here that it says ADB Tax Reform Implementation Advisor. So you are here advising us how to reform our tax system, right?
Yeah, I'm funded by Asian Development Bank to help on the legal and practical issues. I've worked for the tax office in Australia and other countries for 30-something years, so trying to give the practical experience and the legal interpretation of the new laws so that they bed in quickly and easily. It's challenging with the resources we've got, but it's good fun. It's really good.
Right, and I want to make a point. I've heard discussions in the public about it, and it's very valid concerns of can we implement, can we go through this, do we have the resources? Luckily, and I wanted to make a point that I think no single country in the world has done a reform in one shot. It's a reform, we go through some adjustments in the beginning, and then we work for the long run, and the actual benefits that we plan for come in the long run. When we've made all the adjustments, because we cannot anticipate all the situations, all the scenarios, the dynamics in our taxpayer base. So luckily, we have not only Ian, he's with us through the support of ADB. We also have the support of the Australian Tax Office, who works with us remotely every day, every week. We have support from the Bureau of Tax in Taipei, Taiwan. We're fortunate that we're able to leapfrog. We skip all the issues.
Before we go any further, I forgot to let everybody know that the 8AA, which is a government radio station, is also doing the joint broadcast this morning. So we want to take this opportunity and we thank you. We thank you for joining us. And together we can disseminate these information throughout the Republic and also abroad. So, Adel Belao, thank you. Thank you so much for your efforts. Okay, now let's continue.
No, thank you. It's really a collective effort. So we need all the support we can get.
Sure.
It was on the right note. I was talking about support.
Yeah.
So thank you again, and thank you to our colleagues at Adel Belao. So as I was saying, it's fortunate that we have support like Ian and Australian Tax Office. It's because we're able to skip all the hardships and the issues that they went through, that Australia went through, that Taiwan went through. We have even discussions with the Philippines Bureau of Internal Revenue.
Are you using same system in Australia?
Yeah, we have a slightly more complex system, so we're not going that way. We have a goods and services tax and an income tax, very similar to this. And the model that's been adopted here is obviously tailored for a smaller country. So they've got a fairly straightforward system. It's not full of complex rules. There's always some complexity because people's businesses are complex. But it's pretty well worldwide, the goods and services tax.
Yeah.
So you're joining a group of several hundred countries, I think a couple of hundred countries.
All right.
Yeah, some of the...
Can we take this call?
Go ahead.
Ali, yung ito tao?
Tuloy daw mo daw sinilala mereka memakai ayam may spell.
Okay. Okay. They said you have to speak a little bit louder, but I forgot that your microphone was left over here. Okay, and kind of speak a little bit louder, okay? Okay, siguro mga niya problem ng mira audio sola civilo mo kodong mele gigora. Kami mamadaktar atra abdiger. Tirgat belele ada gimdaktar tir makitilgibil gora mo makreo sa autorang harap. Anyway, malungit tutaw mergid rogu dawra nga sula lang Adel Belao ko malmsaw le sola siguro mga niya audio problems and I give him last minute speak as loud as you can be and then so you can call and ask questions, okay? Kadolmon.
Yeah, so some of the discussions, I'll take some examples. Sometimes I push for, no, I want this to make sure that the taxpayers can provide this. And then Ian, being an expert, says, you're putting too much burden on the taxpayer. Simplify it a little bit. So these are the discussions that we...
But we have to understand the fact that when you don't quite understand, you're afraid. But once you understand it, it works good, for our benefits in a sense, So a lot of people, yesterday when they had this same training yesterday at the park, I sat there and listened to the people that are participating that they're not interested. This is going to hurt the consumers and all kinds of, because they don't understand it. So yesterday I was trying to explain to them in the simplest way in order for them to understand. And once they understood it, they said, wow, so this is good. And I said, yeah, it's good. The reason why you're complaining because you don't understand it. Okay, so the question is, how are we going to be able to make them understand? And that's what we're doing right now. Okay.
And with your support, of course. Before we move on, I wanted to make some important announcements. Next week we'll be announcing all the planned workshops for the rest of the year. And these are workshops that will be held in venues where we can host a number of participants. And we tailor these different workshops to different groups of industry. So we'll have workshops for hotels, for financial institutions, then for small stores, small businesses, those that make below 50,000, those that may volunteer. So I appreciate everybody for being patient. We will be publishing the schedule of workshops very soon, and then we'll begin communicating. On that note, I also want to send an appreciation to all the taxpayers that we are and sort of say that we're trying our best to get to all the questions in time. We may have some delays in responses, some because the volume of questions we've been having, which is I think is a good thing with this implementation. But other questions are sort of technical that we have to run through scenarios and see the law and how it applies, and then make decisions on how we're going to implement it. So with that, I my sincere appreciation for everybody with being patient on getting responses. We will be publishing those frequently asked questions as well in websites and our social media. And then, yeah, those were the announcements I kind of wanted to...
It was brought up yesterday that you guys when I say you guys, the tax office, you know, you're gonna try to have a Palawan version. You know, probably going to be a little difficult, but it can be done. And because not all of us can read and understand, you know, English, so it's best that you try to do the translation in Palawan. So if you don't understand it in English, you can have options of go, you know, read the Palawan version of it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's good enough. Thank you. I appreciate that we're getting a lot of questions, and that tells us everybody's concerned and everybody is paying attention to the changes that are coming. And I think that's a good sign that everybody's getting involved, and that's where we want it to be. We want to involve everybody, educate everybody, so that we can successfully implement the tax reform. This show we wanted to get into discussing PGST supplies as part of the topics on the show. As before we talked about registration and the charging and crediting of PGST, we wanted to cover today the PGST supplies, different kinds of supplies. But I wanted to recap that once again, we're October 1st, beginning October 1st to December 31st, the tax office will be registering PGST companies. So there are those that are required by law to be PGST companies, PGST entities, and those are businesses with taxable supplies exceeding 300,000 average annually. Then there are those entities or businesses that carry Foreign Investment Approval Certificate, or FIAC.
Let's hold it right there. When you say taxable supplies, do you have a list of taxable supplies that we can go by? Like you said, well, toilet paper is a taxable, but if I use it in the hotel, I'm not selling it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Is that a taxable?
It can be, but
depends on how you use it.
Right, and it's taxable when you import it, and then it's going to be used for your business, which then provides a service, and thinking about hotels. But yeah, that tissue will be part of the package when you sell the room, and which is the room providing the room will be taxed on PGST. So. And please, Ian, feel free to...
The taxable supplies, in that case, it's the room. So it's equivalent as what you sell. If it's, in the normal case, what you sell is a taxable supply. So if you sell the room, that's the taxable supply. So if your sale of hotel rooms is over 300,000 in the year, then you'll be in the PGST. The things like the toilet paper, they go into the cost of providing it. But what you sell is your taxable supplies. We use the word taxable supply because sometimes there's some that aren't, like financial services from banks, they're not. So we have to use a little bit of language to get it right. But in most cases, a shop sells things, they're the taxable supplies. And if you sell more than $300,000 worth, then you're going to be registering for PGST. And we will have examples. We're putting in a booklet that'll go up on the website fairly soon, I hope, that will talk about what supplies are. Here's examples.
Yeah.
And once people get a feel for it, they'll understand a little easier.
You know,
Quite right. It's difficult.
you're talking, and I'm comparing U.S. tax system and the Australian or Palau. Anything that you buy, let's say you own an apartment or hotel, and you order like soap for rooms, toilet paper for rooms. Those in U.S. are not taxable because you know what? It's an item that you use to improve the business, and when the business is improved, the more money you make, the more money the government making money. So when it says taxable toilet paper for hotel rooms is discouraging me to improve my business. That you know, because in U.S. For example, you know, the room is ordering containers of toilet paper to supply toilet paper for all the rooms in the hotel, and then it's we gotta pay tax on that. Well, why can't we make it like I said? If you order for the rooms, it's not taxable supply. But this new tax reform now, the way I understand it is, you're going to tax those. Is that how it is?
Yes, and that's
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
it's a good point. And but we look at the. You're right. If you're not in the business of selling toilet paper,
Right.
then you can see it as it's not a taxable supply. You're supplying the room, perhaps as a service. That's a taxable supply that the amount, the cost of the tissue is built into, of the cost of the toilet paper. Now we go back the supply chain. The business who sold you the toilet paper is a taxable supply.
Okay.
That business.
So the importer, you pay tax on it, but if I buy it to supply, I mean for my service of my rooms in my hotel, then it shouldn't be taxable because I'm not in business of selling toilet paper. I use it to run my.
The PGST works by each level. If you're registered, I sell you something. I sell you the toilet paper. I'm a registered shop. You pay add 10%. But when you sell your room, you add up all of your bills that you've paid 10%.
I see. Makes sense.
So
Okay.
in other countries, they just have tax and they exclude all these things. What we do is, if you're registered, what you sell can be claimed. The tax you pay as a business, you claim the tax that you spend against it, and you send us the difference. And that goes up each level. And it's only the big people over 300,000. So if you spend money on your business, there's 10% on it, and you claim it. So your room, you spend $100 on toilet paper and food for a room, you sell it for $200, you claim the expenses, and you only send us the difference.
Right.
So they're not taxed if you use what you pay is claimed. But we need to make that really clear, because people don't, it's not 10% and then another 10% and we collect it all. We only collect the difference.
Right, and like I've shared from the previous shows, if you so happen to bought a huge supply of toilet paper and you were anticipating for something that didn't happen, so you have all these taxes you've paid, excess tax you paid for the toilet papers, and you don't sell enough, rent out enough rooms to make up for it, you get a credit because you paid more tax than you collected.
Ah, I see. Makes sense.
Right.
You know, I'm thinking like when this whole thing starts, you know, you're going to have to give the taxpayers enough time to learn and be patient with us. And you're talking, and now I'm thinking like, I'm going to set email that down there. You know, so get all the receipts and go down there and sit down. Teach us how to file this thing, right? By law.
Right.
Yeah. So we're probably going to come in. You know, the first year we're going to come in and out, trying to learn the system. But once we get it, that because I'm not going to file, it's the employee that's responsible to file my tax is the one. But I know responsibility is mine, okay? But she's tasked to do it, you know. So we ask that, can we send our staff or people that working with our tax, you know, in our office, you know, come over to you and take your time and be patient with us and show us how to do it. And once we learn it, very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
On that note, I think we finalized most of the forms. and we want to be circulating, if not today, early next week, to all of the businesses that we think are gonna, like the PGST return form, the one that you use to file your PGST monthly. We're gonna circulate that to businesses who may register for PGST, so that they can begin seeing what kind of process is expected, and then we'll work through them with these workshops ahead to work through those processes and how you file. And we try to make the process and the forms as simple as possible.
And if we need to change them, we change them. So it's intended to be as easy for the businesses. They don't want to be spending too much time filling in tax forms. So it's trying to be as easy as possible. And I'm really quite impressed with the consultations. We talk to people and we've changed things. And the government has indicated that they will as required.
Right.
The director's certainly flexible. The main part is that we listen and can't change everything, but if
First
the form
time
doesn't
anybody
work,
said that about me, but
yeah, I can't say it too often.
but no, and that's always been a part of the process. Is consulting with taxpayers, and they say, "Hey, this is going to hurt us, and this is too much for us to do." And we look and say, "Is it necessary to do it? How can we make it easier, but you still meet your obligations?"
Okay, you're listening to the 8AA, Ngarel Belao, and also DS Broadcasting Company, WWFM. We're doing this joint broadcast on this new tax reform. So please be patient with us. If you have any questions, you can call us at 488-4848. Thank you. Okay, Kadarmol.
Okay. So with that, we kind of dove into taxable supplies. Quickly recapping that we will begin registering PGST companies, firstly compulsory, of course, because they're required by law. Those that make taxable supply exceeding 300,000, and then businesses that are in sort of the revenue thresholds above 50,000 and maybe below 300,000 that are not required by law. We can begin registering them, but we have to. They apply to do the registration form, apply for PGST, and the office reviews if they can be granted PGST. We need to look at sort of capacity of record keeping. How do you keep your books? Can you manage a cash flow? Because we're transitioning to an accrual accounting system. So those are the things that we will begin doing October.
Okay. Kami ask a question, okay? Let's say, I file a tax na. Excuse us, let's speak in Palawan in order for other people to understand. Siguro magigore lang nakanya kikresto ang arak malupa front mga niya file Bangladesh store nga wala click. Anyway, that's beside the point. Umgo kigong lang mergo ma receipts nga kanmela say okay ay kakit. Ega mi asa kita taxable items may gadi sel bodo merega say sel pa the tax ringi lang. Sen 10% sel la rogo deduction samla to top de. Basta taxable item and yung harap tax ringi maluti taxable item harap tax sel mo taxable amount. Sen 10%.
Well, at PGST, malamol 10% on all the supplies.
10%.
Oh,
okay.
Mangarnya la alwasay. Seltal o motor raklal the charge of PGST ni. Yang gilid kaltmak la invoice lo ngil cheklal.
I see.
Alwasay tagi the klal wat tela aral. At 10% tigi the 10% in PGST charge ringi. And then sige the invoice sa mo basis rawasay. Selaming gal total lagi gid rogol PGST bil galep. Imay na sige rogol PGST bil haraw. Imay kada malamol malunga ditong self-assessment. Hindi ako da sel ulel hindi ako expect ra dal mil lo ba file ma receipt tir. Pero kada malamol malunga tial self-assessment dalwa GRT lo asi. Sel ami ko ba form ko. We call declare lo asi ka kita revenue nga. Tiya kita tax at karangi. Iko re process e haro. And then ang lela obisera tax sel ko side the audit ma side na compliance. Igi ang alam al check lo asi kang maral work ka tal check lo asi kang maral ay gil blame file igi dia maral amount to. Sige the system mamamulmol. Hindi because kalam last misi isel requirement the reward keeping. Sige the part the reward keeping lo siya. Reward PGST invoice ka gina mal keep for 3 years.
At the moment, yeah.
Right.
2 years?
3.
Not 6 years.
No.
Oh.
3 years. So
3 years.
you have to keep record of 3 years. Your PGST invoice ka gina but chronologically in order.
Okay, since we have computers now all over the world,
Yeah.
can you file instead of separate filing, on papers, can we put them all in USB and keep the USB up to 3 years?
So yeah, we electronic record keeping is
Is
okay.
that allowable?
It's good. Yes, I may say it's preferable, but as long as you maintain those records, meeting the time requirement.
Can you be more work closely with us in what I'm talking about is audit, because I don't want to be 5-6 years later and then you audit me and say, you owe this much money, you cheat tax and all of that. Sometimes we, not intentionally, but it happens, so can you audit us? Audit is a good thing, man, because audit not only help the government but also help you to keep your business records straight. So if there's a little leaking somewhere in your business, you'll find out. So audit is good. Are you going to be able to audit at least, not 3-4 years later, but maybe a couple of years, and then audit so we know where we are?
Yeah, should be able to.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
People are afraid of audit, especially those who are, playing with cheating tax and stuff like that, But, it's good. To me, I look at it differently. It helps me to see how my business is going. And plus, when you go to the bank to borrow money, you're going to need that information in order to get a loan, right?
True.
Yeah, so it's a good thing. Okay.
Sorry. Maging workshop na magitra sel pora related labing ministry of agriculture officers in Wood Park. So nganya dili kalkuram le kamentel ne korm ne attention na kalwasi. Kadat man although article agra magit mata kipare record deftir. Wal kura pruden. Hindi ka maldi ngul bakal mo 2020 la $4 gersa. Sila albol nganya ngeso.
Tinor murtulo sigar.
Mo say, tiabay kadabay wasay makalado masuwida kigarel business marata magit. El mo sabi el maral ki pare or hindi kal help partil wasay. Ay gagida cook expense nga tignan na revenue nga. Sel tialo tela wal tele la business letia maral nga karon nga Sel domestic ng sembay mo suwid mo si mungil operator tial tel la umalgel.
Here's a question from Shanghai. Mainland China. Okay, I know her because she calls when we have a new public forum show. She calls. Anyway, she's in Shanghai. Okay, Burkett, the question you have sent to us is here. Ali, we're using the VAT system. They're using VAT system. How do I ensure you're collecting all the VAT? Okay. Do registered business get VAT refund? Okay, you got that?
Yeah.
If so, when do they file for refund?
Good question. I'll answer and then Ian can add on if I miss something. But yes, the system, the goods and service system that we're implementing is a charge and credit system, meaning you get credit that can be refunded.
I see.
Right. So currently, examples, they may have instant refunds. Australia has instant refunds. New Zealand. Our system is designed in at least currently how the law is written is the credits that you get if you pay more taxes than you collect them. You keep that. The next month that you come to file your next PGST, we can offset with that credit. After 2 months, after the 2-month period, then you apply for a refund.
I see.
After 2 months, and that 2 months that we keep the credit is for us to audit and make sure everything's in order before you apply for a refund. It's kind of protecting the revenue and also enabling us to verify.
We have to monitor the refunds carefully,
Right.
credits carefully, because people can try to steal. Obviously, it's a risk. But after 2 months, you can get it if you need it. But you can keep it in there and just claim it for the next month. If there's only $15 left, you might just want to claim it.
Used to offset your taxes.
Yeah.
As a general rule, most people don't have many credits. It's only if they, say, buy a car or some big asset in 1 month. We would hope that people are making a profit and not having too many credits.
I hope that answers the question.
Well, if you didn't, you can call us again if we did not answer your questions or explain to you the questions that you asked. I want to give you some information in the sense that what I heard yesterday at the park, I'm more likely ako ay sa sing dekat ka sira utas magarati improve tel lo si sa klamiura ay kagin tawara taxe. Excuse me. Number one, PA system was poor, hard to hear, people. So we keep saying, can you turn it up? They maximize it and still didn't get to us. We're sitting right there and we have to go real close to it, but yet there's a lot of noise, people, the traffic and all of that stuff, so it's a waste of time.
I see.
So how can we make that more effective to get these information to the public, The people also that were there, they had a separate questions, but they were not really explained themselves correctly or something like that. So they asked a question and they were not satisfied. So they came and sat with us, and then they expressed themselves like they didn't understand. This is no good program and all of that. So if we can, what I'm trying to say, if we can centralize this whole thing, and write like overhead demonstration of how it's done, written, we put it on the wall, we televise it, I'll be willing to help, free of charge, because after all, at the end of the day, I'm still Palawan, so we put the business aside and concentrate of how we can reach the people, and the more I think they understand it, the better for the country and also the business. Okay, this is just a comment.
I appreciate the comment, and we take note of it, and we'll make sure that we improve on how we deliver the information. So we'll look forward to better collaborations with partners and see how we can improve and make sure that the information is delivered in a comprehensive and in a comprehensible way and clear.
This is what I'm correct me if I'm wrong, or if you have planned for it, then disregard what I'm going to say. I strongly believe, like, if you find a place where everybody, all the instructors going to be there, okay, and all of us in the private sector, media, and all of that stuff, we go there and try to help the government to disseminate these information to the public.
Okay.
Just like what we did this morning, we called, I really appreciate that, the government and private sector, we work together, we, in a minute or less than a minute, we called and then they approve it, and then right now we're live in the radio station, the 8AA, so we appreciate that government, and together I think we can get this thing over with, and people will be better understand the tax system that we are going to use for the rest of the world. I don't know. Okay.
So lang ini sila pila kalbi frutal mo matakil wasi yak na malmol mo kanya sa umigay kita gim nga kasi makaras edel mutol mo ngil mo sutrir at bolungil mo.
Come explain the said proposal mo lugar na sa Australian government, have set up.
I see. So nga maybe I'm speaking English for this also. We have, because we can talk and sort of what happened yesterday also is when we talk about tax and we get the technical,
Oh,
people lose track. I would lose track as well if I wasn't if I was outside of the tax office. So what we're planning to do and what we're gonna do is we've got equipment for video productions where we can do specific videos to address questions, or we can do comprehensive videos, but then we accompany it with graphics, and that can aid the understanding of the concept. So, and I ask that you and the other our government station can help us disseminate that information. So, and also help us improve in how we deliver the message. So we're going to be doing video productions so we can focus on questions and technical questions that can be explained with graphics that can sort of make it easier to digest.
so where is production studio going to be located?
Well, we've managed to make space at the tax reform office, and we'll be working on setting it up and beginning. And we're with this, we also have support from the Australia Tax Office to help us with make sure that the message is clear.
And what I'm suggesting for you guys to do is to have enough audio plugs that we can, like my radio station, if I want to broadcast it in live, I just walk right in there and plug it into that phone jack, and then we get the audio and send it to the main station and broadcast it. That's for audio. Now for video, you also have to have a video available for those, like I can do video also, we can broadcast it to YouTube, so I think when you start it, invite us to come and participate so we know how to do it, and together I think we can get this through, Okay, so it costs you nothing. For me, I don't speak for others, but for me, it costs you nothing.
Thank you.
Nothing.
Really appreciate the support. Any thoughts?
Obviously, the small videos of what is sale PGST, how you do it. And we think if we've got that with simple brochures to explain the concepts, and we can have all the technical legal stuff on the website if you get desperate.
Okay.
But we don't want people to be reading the law. It's too complex.
Okay. So we have done the taxable supplies, and that's the next and zero-rated supplies. Did you cover all of those?
No, maybe we'll go ahead and discuss zero-rated and exempt supplies. So we have zero-rated supplies, and these means these are supplies that are charged PGST at 0%.
Oh,
right. And then there's exempt supplies, those supplies that we don't charge any PGST on them. This is only specifically to the application of PGST. So the list of zero-rated supplies, they include goods for export, so sort of supplies that we make to export, aircraft or ships going to a destination outside of Palau. So these are sort of the service provided there, not charged PGST. A fishing vessel going outside of Palau because it's leaving. Goods supplied to repair, renovate, or modify temporary imports. Temporary import, because import temporarily and mutual export. So that, and then services for use or consumption outside of Palau. Services directly in connection with goods that are temporarily imported. So services is magel repair, agel hook service and more repair, agel either import export, agel man ngabol ngayon la PGST. Then prescribed medicine to a pharmacy, medical clinic, or hospital licensed to operate in the Republic of Palau. So a car mo zero-rated supply. And then plastic pellets.
Excuse me. Agel items for promotions. Let's say a politician order 2,000 T-shirts and bring them in, for not for resale but for promotion. Are you going to tax that?
Yes, because there's no, it's not listed under zero-rated or exempt supply. And then if it's not for commercial use, the personal threshold kicks in. So anything above 400 is taxed with a PGST of 10%.
Okay.
Yeah, so and then plastic pellets اجل دولار بالمية ومية بيقول توارن مرانسل اجل pellet رالمو.
What tax I get?
Yeah, I gave zero rated supply.
Okay.
And then of course اجل glass malubing botella اجل tool mabli la rom. I gave zero rated supply.
I see.
Diesel talto en dia ko club lo say zero rated supply lo say ay PGST ay di galak tring import galak tring manufacturing sila malu production sila malu sel supply chain ingel adlor tring PGST registered ingel galak tra PGST ring so mon ko sel indigal wagel plastic pellets altu malu albebia aral man baral man sel alo trur ingel kumbalet sum PGST
Seblan liaran branche.
Moi say
Elotrul.
Moi say
Segideng bar taxable.
Engel PGST company so engel lotra niya PGST company ang magiging halat 10% din. See.
See.
Yes, any additions on zero rated? Oh, sorry. I think I remember what I was trying to say. So, mulway sell zero rated supply mga uluguma prescribed medicine well malubang uluguma akara mrur belaw zero rated supply musel al motor mora hospital mora tara kumbali yung makalektra PGST hindi even though zero rated I get lakadal mula bal mrur sel garas em claim a PGST at sumum liharan so I got side yoringi sila wala matigat kal mo ka ay ulong magamle import te kala hara PGST
Kadung o nga kalalakar. Popular laptop klara mli bo nga ngari doctor ra pharmacy ra ang ngari dila yano wala sila lang require a PGST.
I think we're zero rated local medicine.
So it's to the pharmacy. Yeah.
Okay.
The most common is often exports. If people are selling to overseas, they can claim all of their credits and they don't charge PGST, so they get refunds fairly regularly.
Okay.
So the good thing with the zero is that because it's still zero rated, you can claim all the credits, as I think you mentioned before.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And then exempt supplies. Ilang difference for zero rated my exempt. Zero rated you charge PGST at 0%.
Okay.
Exempt was completely hindi ang charge hindi nga. One loss is zero PGST hindi nga ngani klaro sila the treatment.
Okay.
The exempt supply lo kala financial services. So loans, deposits, investments, derived interest, securities, managed funds, insurance, retirement savings, credit under installment sale agreement, guarantee. Again, all financial service ada kalbal ngayon lang PGST.
Oh. Okay.
Did I miss anything on the financial service?
No PGST is charged and you can't claim any credit. So if you buy something from somebody with PGST charged, you can't claim a credit.
Yeah.
But you're not charging it, so it's just flow through. That's to make it easier because it's for financial services. Adding PGST to interest would be rather complicated. We just say no PGST charged and no PGST claims, so they're basically not.
Okay. Other one, taxable supplies.
Yeah. So I think did you wanna question the taxable supply? Gigita ko ramli. Basically, gigita ko ramli the zero rated my exempt. So if my question is the
Yeah, there are question. Most questions that I had has been answered. Okay. Other one with the list of items you want to cover. Then I'll bring out taxable supplies, the definition of taxable supplies. Can you define that?
Taxable supplies, yeah.
Definition of taxable supply.
Do you want to define taxable supplies?
Yeah, they're the supplies that you make in the carrying on of a business that are not specifically zero rated. So in the general case, if you're running a business and you are carrying out sales, then you will be subject to the taxable supply rule. It's almost everything you supply, unless you can find it in the zero rated or exempt. It's pretty well everything. But it's got to be obviously related to a business carried on by a Palawan.
I see. O mesin na tayo may tuloy kung kung makasto ang ultra klaro. Kaya klaro mo ultra taxable supply. At kaya siya wala siya wala ultra gigit supply. Sige daw ko na alimpyo to so del. Hindi silba technical ang gigit ko exempt ma zero rated.
I see.
Kita mo to lang. Aning taxable supply hindi ka deal hot hindi ka service. PGST charge taxable supply of goods and services.
Okay, you're listening to T8AA and also the US Broadcasting Company, WWFM. And if you have any questions, you can call us at 488-4848, and we're going to try to see if we can answer your questions, okay? If not, let's continue on.
I think that's what we can cover today, like the supply.
All right.
And if the nasa update lo kasi gigin mo nun visit agel kumbalil amo compulsory PGST company sagil required by law gilin mar PGST. Pagul mo lo or visit to deliver information gilin la registration round of it. Kasi it's an ongoing work of delivering those registration packets. It's just information on what to prepare for in the upcoming registration. It's still ongoing, so if they haven't gotten to you, they probably will soon. We've covered maybe probably half of the PGST compulsory companies. And then I also want to also remind that be on the lookout for those workshop dates that we will hold. As we gamin during mongil said mongil focus sa ngarinya or screen sa ilo sa ikagidal graphics na or presentation.
I see. Como para like a state lo siya sa.
Why siya so ngarinya or mornya klol nif malsa wet. And kadokora the balas reach out to ka station ng Alma Media o hindi man sabela sumong mo ora kim tiyan man ora sam agil tiya at tigigidan maklol kung balid mo PGST ng club is a process involved rin matrigigidan lom na sa mo register sa PGST tigil volunteer
ya ko mo sabi ng member ng okra studio ko uspe overhead ko iron by learn more training film. So all you have to do just give it to us and we put it on the air.
Thank you.
Yeah. And at the same time we take our audio and then we do it like 6 months, 7 months, until people get tired listening to it. Then they learn. Yeah. So I recommend them. I'm willing to come and sit down and learn the whole thing, how you're gonna do it, and then we provide support.
Pagkakita na kalorang na blue, kasi ilang kami mo, masadra taksan mo, wala mga lilara, kalip na klol, mga lilalginan mo, klongit, klod, rin ginawa, dyan mo alim.
Hindi mo ba sa hindi ka abot sa wala tax?
Moy say.
Kaya bring luri.
Moy say. Ding, moy say, hindi ka all the necessary evil, I think, Ian.
You have to pay for government somehow.
Malum a service man siya that provide service in Marva Club.
Yeah. Okay. Well, man, 1 hour went. If you have, can you continue on or?
I think that's
it. Okay.
I want to say that my friends don't want me to talk tax because I will not stop. I can talk about it all day.
Yeah. Tayo na awal po ng grand opening basically nigra after Quartier is going to be. They're having a soft opening at 10 o'clock this morning, so I have been invited to join. Tirgan give invitation, please to witness soft opening clinic after Quartier in Nasil para tasagel malubang next and para tasagel. Okay, so like Dorang Australia Beklat, especially those Palawans that thinking about returning back to Palau, that you need to learn this new tax system. And I think once we implement this new tax system, we're going to have more revenue, to come into our government. We're kind of ashamed to ask for support all the time. Australians, our friends from Australia, they donated. I think they donated us a new medical supply software to control the disbursement of everything. I mean, it's fully automated. Again, Australian government, donated. And the ambassador was there last Thursday. I think it was yesterday when we went and demonstrate the whole system, and it's really good because you never run out of medication. You have about 10 bottles of Tylenol, automatically put them on order, right here before you know it. But anyway, we thank you so much, especially the Australian government for helping us, and anytime when I can be a help to you, Director Elway, don't hesitate to call. Yeah, let us know, and then we'll be right there with you. Okay, if you want to say a few words, to the audience, go ahead and say it, and then we close our program.
Ya, ki maldi malmam loreng asau leon ngitra kleng asau makal loreng. The sodi tiang apa tungi keluar le dapat maklia besel taxing. In the long run in Klunyolet.
Okay.
At the same time, with that note of your very kind and generous words and support, I also like to, express my support for this station, for Mangarel Belao, our partners in the media, and then of course AGB for giving us Ian to work with us, and then of course our partners from the Australian Tax Office, Taiwan and the Philippines.
Okay.
Okay.
Kaman Sularogoy, may God bless you all, and have a nice weekend. Bye bye now.